Welcome to the Winds of Chaos, the Dungeons & Dragons campaign where you influence the course of the game. You can harness the Winds of Chaos, this nefarious force of change sweeping across the land of Gondara, by donating bits during the game to help or hinder our heroes. For 300 bits, our heroes may find a useful, mundane, non-magical item. For 400 or 500 bits, you buff the monsters that our heroes are facing, with a minor or major mutation respectively. Special thanks to Bow the Distance for creating the random monster mutation table that we roll on for these redeems. For 600 bits, you compel a player character's flaw. For 700 bits, you grant inspiration to one of the player characters. That's a reroll of the d20 for them to use during the clutch moment. For 800 bits, you make Flutter Die roll on the Wild Magic Surge table, our community's favorite. Flutter's character, Kiona, is a wild magic sorcerer and doesn't have full control over arcane powers, and every now and then, well, you'll just have to wait and see what happens. Finally, subscribers to the DM's channel, that is twitch.tv/ghostpepper, can harness the Winds of Chaos to blow a custom NPC or magic item into the party's path. Please direct message Ghostpepper on Discord for more information. And if you're a regular supporter of this campaign on Twitch, please consider instead directing your support over to their monthly Ko-Fi subscription plan, as they use the proceeds over there to go directly towards improvements of the game, such as music, artwork, and subscriptions to different services that make the game that much better. Any monthly supporters on Ko-Fi get a free Major Monster Mutation, Wild Magic Surge, custom NPC, or magic item once per month. We really appreciate all of our Ko-Fi subscribers, bit redeemers, and every single one of you watching the game. Now please relax and enjoy the show.
Clicking intensifies. Can you hear us?
Clicking intensifies. Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear everybody?
Hello.
Hello to reach.
All right. How's the audio versus the music? Not too loud, is it? Honey.
Collie Flumps is here. I know Collie's only going to be on voice.
All right.
Yeah, or rather, not. He's not going to be on voice. He's going to be on everything but voice. I got that backwards.
Flumps will be chatting with us via text.
Flumps will be chatting via text, telegraph, telepathy. He's live streaming interpretive dance to us right now on the Discord. So he is communicating in every way except for voice. How's everyone doing? I said I have something to show you. He's just like, yeah. I said I have something to show you guys, which is pretty cool. I ordered and recently received in the postage mail a set of cards for use with Dungeons and Dragons and other TTRPGs called Who is in the Tavern? Who's in the Tavern? So this was recommended to me by our good mutual friend, Jinto Lin. There's another cool one.
That looks really cool, Ghost.
Yeah. I'll show you this this Lamia girl here. So it's made to be a set of cards. So I've got stats on the back for her, stats and information about her on the back. So this is Lyra Silverscale. She is a librarian. So it tells us her profession, her personality: blunt, shrewd, methodical, bizarre. Her family, her local ties. She's employed by various guilds for bookkeeping. Her income level, her possible connections. And then why is she in the tavern? And there's a D6 roll that you could do to, you know, on a 1, she's attempting to flirt. On a 3, she's here to gamble. On a 5, she's here to drink with her father. On a 6, she's sleeping with her eyes open. And then she has a tavern rumor. I don't know if it's a tavern, if it's a rumor about this character, or it's a rumor that she has. But it's really cool. So when your players ask you, like, hey, we walk into the tavern, who's in here? And you don't know, right? You can just draw a few of these cards from this deck, and I just sort of grabbed half the deck. So this is half the deck right here.
Wow.
So the full deck is like this thick, right? And you have all this information about a ready-made NPC. Yeah, there's lots and lots.
That's really cool.
They have stats like this bard-looking girl right here. Yvain Highroad. She has an alcohol tolerance of 6, an appetite of 4, a preach of 3, a perform of 8, an 8 in bar fighting, a 10 in stealth, a 7 in gaming, and an 8 in gossip. Yeah. I don't know what the stats mean.
I want a bar fighting stat.
Yeah. So there's some information cards that came with it that I haven't read yet. I haven't really sat down and read over the info cards yet, so like I wonder if there's like a proper game system that's been attached to this where, you know, the stats mean something, or if there's a convertibility of the player character's stats into these stats. But
right.
I think you might even be able to play like a game just with these.
I bet you could. I mean, it would be fun to just like
D&D,
everybody just pick a random card and has to play this character for like some.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's fun.
But this is like a long time need that dungeon masters have.
That would be cool to do one shots with too.
Yeah, players just saying like, "Hey, we walk in this tavern. Who's in the tavern?" Okay,
There you
well, I'll
go.
pull out a card. There's this girl named Brady is in here. She's what's her profession? A shopkeep, right? So you have all this info about the NPC. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
She's who we need to talk to. That's right, Collie. So if anyone's interested in that, it took a while to get here because I think they make them, they print them by demand, right? So it's by Cat Loaf Games, like loaf is in like a bread loaf. Cat Loaf Games. Who is in the tavern? And I got it off of Etsy. Jinto recommended it to me.
That sounds
Really,
like
really
a
cool.
fabulous way to find characters to play for one-shots.
Yeah. Characters to play for
Oh,
one shots, NPCs to fight. Like, it's really, really
Yeah. Yeah.
cool. The randomness of it. I love the, like, it's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, little shout out, little show and tell there, a little shout out for a small creator in this space. Any other DMs who are out there, you might who want to pick it up, feel free to DM me if you need a link or something. But thanks, Jinto, for that tip.
Yeah, for sure.
I will be making extensive use of these cards, probably in this campaign and probably in some IRL games as well. Okay, Collie, shoot me a DM and I'll remember to send you the link after the stream. But welcome everybody. I hope everyone's doing well today. We were talking about, Flutter and I were talking about this maybe being a shorter session, and Collie is obviously not fully able to he's able to join us to the extent that he's able to. So let's get this rolling and not waste any more time. Our roleplay question of the day, which I did not send to you, Woof, because I forgot about
okay.
it. But what is your character's favorite season? What is your character's favorite season? And why? So, while our player characters are thinking of this, I want to invite everybody in chat to share your answers for a TTRPG character of your choice who is near and dear to your heart. And I'm going to say thank you to some friends in the community. First of all, thank you to all of our Ko-fi subscribers who are always, very generous and supporting our campaign, helping to make it the best campaign that it can be. Your monthly Ko-fi membership. I roleplay as me, Peter, and that's the best day. That is the best day, Peter. Yeah, so your monthly Ko-fi membership helps us to pay for some subscriptions, like the subscription to Roll20 that allows us to use all sorts of fancy things like dynamic lighting. Best and worst subject in school. Wow.
Didn't
that was
update
a good one.
properly.
That was a good one. It didn't update properly. Remember, Ko-fi members, that you have a free redeem of a major monster mutation, a wild magic surge, a custom magic item, or a custom NPC to appear in the campaign. So thank you very much to all of our supporters. Second thank you is to our rules lawyers, Starborn Striker, aka Megan, and Bow the Distance. They help us to stay on the straight and narrow. If there's an open question about how a rule works, they help us to solve that, so that we can keep playing. We don't have to constantly be stopping and flipping through the player's handbook or strolling through Jeremy Crawford tweets to figure out how a rule is actually supposed to work. Third thank you is to Vinyl Stencil for helping us to organize bits redeems and the like. Once again, helping us keep the game running smoothly. Final thank you is to all of you out in chat, just for being you, just for being cool, just being here and hanging out with us each and every week. We really appreciate everyone, especially people who follow us across all the channels and support all the Winds of Chaos players, because each of these wonderful people deserve your support. But thank you for sharing this with us. All right, so we've got, let's see, who answered the question? Peter did. Probably May around the 1st. I roleplay as me, Peter, and that's the best day. There you go. There you go. Is that a Peter birthday by any chance?
That's a Peter birthday.
Is that a Peter birthday by any chance? Okay.
Peter is the Beltane baby.
I just think of it as Mayday. Mayday, Mayday. Peter's on the way.
Just think of it as Beltane. The day of Peter.
The day of Peter.
Peter Day.
Darvin Piltafoot was my first D&D character I made for a Halloween one-shot. Depending on the character, Darvin, history is bet. No, I'm looking at the wrong one. Summer, because Darvin met his wife on the first day of summer. Hell yeah. Foodle's favorite season is spring. The forest is coming alive, the flowers are popping, and the weather is warming. Nice. All right. What about Mazra?
I mean, it's Mazra, so probably winter. Everyone stays inside and bother her.
Because nobody bothers her in the winter.
Wow. All right. What about Kiona?
Much like Foodle, Kiona likes the spring. It's when all the baby foals are born and like all of the, animals in springtime, happiness, all the babies.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Also, it smells really good in spring. Just, it smells. There's a different smell in the
springtime. Smells really good in
springtime.
spring. Mm-hmm.
Coincidentally, spring is my favorite.
Okay. I wouldn't know if there's a different smell in springtime because I can't smell anything in springtime.
Or ghost.
So I'll have to take your word for it. Rai says for Boo, it's summer because it's the most socially acceptable season for him to show as much muscle and skin as he does. Nice. Tarps off in summer. All right. So, folks, last time there was some big and small stuff that was moving things along in Dal Kalash. What happened?
We rolled a lot of bad stuff to happen
really
to our city.
You did.
We had a robbery, a murder. But Mazra got a celebration, and Kiona got a traitor, and Foodle and Mazra both got windfalls at the end of the day. But we did have a robbery and a murder happen.
Yeah.
It was a tough start. It was a rough start. Yeah. To the week. To the weeks, the several weeks. Like 6 weeks, right? Like a month and a half.
And Kiona is doing lessons with somebody that existed in the past.
Yeah. To
Denari.
learn how to modify your spells.
Yeah.
Interestingly, this is apparently Denari spent her last moments of life on this earth teaching you.
Teaching Kiona. Which is a whole mindfuck for Kiona. Hasn't even like started to really like graze the whole. Kiona has so much coming to her that she hasn't figured out yet. Like I have, like once she figures this out, like oh my god,
So
she's
cool,
gonna lose her
though.
mind.
Yep.
So yeah,
Yep.
it's a wild ride for her right now. That's
Yeah. And this is the thing, like Korai magic, there's something like really eldritch and weird about it, you know? Like,
yeah.
Like the lessons back in time, and your lessons always take place at the same moment in the past.
Right.
But yet they always build on each other, and Denari always has a memory of. So it's not like a true Groundhog's Day.
Yeah.
Right? It seems like it exists. It's a moment that exists almost outside of time itself.
It's like Denari somehow managed to clip a moment of time in that moment that she can access and change however she needs it to be.
Yep. But you did learn, however, enigmatically, that at least to the Korai, time is not simply a river that flows in one direction. So maybe they have the ability to do that.
Yep.
Who
Kiona
knows?
needs to
I don't.
smoke up with Foodle because she needs to be able to say, "I get it, man."
I really get it.
Time. Time's
Time.
like not a river.
I bet if Kiona and Foodle smoked together, that conversation would happen, and it would be delightful to have a conversation between Kiona and Foodle about time, with Adelotti chiming in here and there, like, and V. That would be so much fun. But imagine it's just like a big ocean instead.
Hold on, I've got the perfect thing. There you go. Foodle. Complete the sentence for Foodle when he's high. Time is not a river, it's... And then come up with a justification for it. Use that random object generator. Work gloves. Wait, what's the first half? Time isn't a river. Time isn't a river. Time is work gloves. And now Foodle has to justify that with his philosophy while high.
I'm his lag jerky.
And what happened to Mazra last time?
Mazra was given the Ordskara officially by Eldrigo, Granddad, good old Gramps, and Wayfair. Basically, handing it off, and also telling her that the gods are gonna pull a Guild Wars 2 and get out, and they're gonna do a Cormier special and 23 Skidoo. And the magic's gonna go away.
I decided this before we got to that part of the story, by the way.
Look, I gotta tease you.
I decided this before we got.
We were all very.
I just hate it.
Impressed.
Don't you hate it? Like you're right. Well, like anybody who's run a D&D campaign, you come up with this like really cool plot twist, and then you play a game or watch a movie where they do that, and you're like, oh no.
All right.
No, but it's great. We were all talking afterwards, and we were really impressed with it, with that twist. So
Yeah,
But yeah.
honestly, we had a whole conversation about it afterwards. So,
Yep.
that,
so
yeah.
yep, and that's gonna happen after the. So basically, the world is not safe if the Korai are around, and so we have to deal with that, and then the gods kind of have to go because they'll be fed upon essentially.
Mm. Well, basically, they're gonna isolate the world even
Mhm.
from themselves, right? So it's gonna be like the war crimes shield in Stellaris,
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
where you like encase a planet in a permanent shield. That's pretty much what they're gonna do. Okay. And after unlocking the full power of the Ord Skara,
Oh, did you want me to say it, or
and either of you can say it, what happened?
she fixed the walls
Yeah.
of the city because she wanted to protect people.
My Mazra is so good.
Only it's not
Alright.
to keep people out, it's to keep the people inside safe. And that includes people who want to come in if they're not jerk.
There you go. Okay.
Except somebody
Excellent.
in this town keeps murdering people.
Yeah.
Except somebody in this town is a jerk.
Don't know who
Right.
yet.
And
We'll find
Kiona
out.
is also unhappy that people don't like the Korai either. And the what are they? What do we call them?
Huh?
The-
Inspired?
Inspired.
Inspired. Also, there needs to be some way to make peace between the inspired and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how yet, though.
We'll get there.
A rave.
That sounds like it might work, actually. At least one jerk.
All right. Yeah. So there's been a murder. You want to talk about this murder? Because that's pretty much going to be the cut and
Yeah.
thrust, the cut and thrust of tonight's
You
session.
want to do it, Flutter? or you
So
want
what
me to
happened
do
with
it?
that?
So we found the body, or somebody found the body of. Oh my God, I have the note here. Marlo, the guy that murdered Marlo Evans, who murdered the first guy, or so we thought anyway. I guess. So, but what happened to her is a good question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We don't know yet.
We exiled them, so he shouldn't have been around to get murdered, but he showed up murdered. So now we have to figure out who the fuck is murdering people
Yes.
and liquefying their insides,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and how they're liquefying their insides and why. And this guy wasn't an inspired, so
Nope.
Yeah, so we're not sure what's happening.
also Kiona's
Sure.
cooking up a spell so she can deal with people.
Doesn't sound ominous or anything.
In every ounce of downtime that she has in between whatever she's doing to help Foodle and Mazra investigate this thing, as she is in her mage tower trying to cook up a fun little spell.
A fun little spell. Okay. And so, you embarked upon trying to solve this murder mystery. You received mail first from some sort of extra dimensional courier, whom you just accepted
So
at face
weird.
value.
Yeah.
And then you got
Just
another
showed up.
piece of mail from a guy who works at the docks, and you were instantly suspicious of this guy.
Like, you just can't trust people these days.
I'm just-
If they're weird and wearing inexplicable devices and they come from a time or space that you don't
Look, we've
understand.
seen some weird shit, okay?
Yeah. But if it arrived on a boat, that's suspicious.
What is it, from a sea monster? What the heck's going on here?
Yeah. I don't trust
Who would
stuff
send their
that crosses
letters
water.
via-
Letters
Oh,
from the
shit.
sea? Yeah. This party is so weird.
And it was a letter from Darfin responding to Foodle's letter, which was another good one, considering Foodle sent the first letter, and then when Darfin responded to it, he was like, "What sorcery is this? Mail?" Yeah, he dictated it. Yeah. And the letter was hastily written, and you had a difficult time following the expert advice of Darfin, captain of the Super Guard. And so as you are kind of trying to run around town, conduct your investigation in a somewhat indelicate manner, a couple days later, another letter lands in your hands. Just as you're kind of falling upon dead end after dead end after dead end in your investigation. How would Flutter like to read the letter? I'll give you a choice in Darfin's voice or in Foodle's voice reading the letter.
I feel like it'd have to be Foodle's voice reading the letter.
All right, let's go. So Collie posted it in the group chat.
Yeah, I've got it here. Hold on, I gotta. Oh god. Okay, there's so much, you guys. It's a lot. Okay. Oh god. Okay. Foodle, please pardon the brief nature of my first note. The matter seemed of great urgency, so I wanted to respond as quickly as possible. Now that I have had more time to consider the details of your investigation, an expanded response seems prudent. I'm sorry.
I'm laughing at you, I'm laughing with you.
First, I should explain the method by which we tend to conduct our investigations. The most important details in any criminal investigation tend to be means, motive, and opportunity,
Memes?
meaning the way in which the crime was committed, the reason for committing the crime, and the opening to do so. Establishing any two of these details usually allows the third to become clear. You guys, I'm not sure this is making it better for me. In your case, since both motive and opportunity seem to be out of reach, I suggest you concentrate on the means by which the murder was committed. Hence why I suggested checking into the objects which were tampered with during the time of the first murder. If you can establish a means by which the corpse was damaged, you can then determine who is capable of damaging the corpse that way. Hopefully by then it will be a simple matter of tracing back over their activities in order to establish their capability of committing the crime. By the time you have all those details, a confession should be easy to acquire. This is so much.
It's a long letter.
Do you want me to do the second
long
half
letter.
as Darfin?
You want to do the second half, Mazra?
Oh wait, where did you stop?
Do
Where
it
did you
as
stop?
Dolphin. I am
uncertain.
Okay. Alright. I am uncertain what
I mean.
magic Mazra and Kiona have available, but here also are some spells that we of the Order find useful during investigations. First and foremost, detect magic may reveal traces of magic used in unexpected places, though I assume you have already made liberal use of it. For determining the truth of a testimony, we use Zone of Truth. I have provided a scroll in case you don't have access to the spell, because I know you don't have access to anything. In some cases, it's a good idea to advise your target that you intend to cast the spell and ask them to submit in order to see how they respond. In other cases, it might be worth it to spring the spell on your target so they do not have a chance to react, and are thus less likely to resist the effects of the spell. Finally, some powerful clerics have the ability to speak with the souls of the departed. Their ability to question these souls is sadly limited, but if you have access to the skull of the victim, the spell can still prove useful. I have sourced a scroll from one of the clerics here in case none of the clerics you have with you have access to the spell. Use it carefully. The soul is under no obligation to answer your questions at all, let alone honestly. Some mages also have the ability to enhance the skills of others for a brief time. A boost to your wisdom might allow you to more easily spot details. It can also be helpful for spotting lies, whereas a boost to your charisma may make it easier to convince others to cooperate with your investigation. I hope you find these details useful, and I do apologize that I wasn't able to provide more sooner. If you are uncertain about anything I've written, please check with V. They seem as though they would have a strong grasp on legal matters. Best regards, Darfin. XOXO, kisses and hugs.
So,
All right. So you have a zone of truth that was enclosed with the letter.
Seems also a speak with scroll list.
Nope.
but
He did
But
not
Kiona
speak
has-
with Dead Scroll, but
but-
he advised you to.
No, you said I
speak to
could
a
send both.
cleric.
You said I could send
Oh.
both of the scrolls.
Okay. Well, that's not what the letter said, and that is not
It
what
was-
Collie said in
I have
his message.
sourced
It
a
was
scroll
what
from one of the
said.
clerics here.
Fiona has a
Oh.
scribe now, you guys. We can make our own scrolls.
That's expensive. Let Darvin pay for it.
Well, but also it doesn't have to be as expensive because Fiona has a scribe now. I think. Question mark.
Oh,
Question mark. How much does Eladir charge us to make a scroll?
I don't know.
Ghost member.
You have the scroll though, the
Okay.
speak with that scroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if we use them both at the
Collie
same time?
said that Darfin suggested we contact a cleric for their ability to speak with some of those who have passed on, but yeah, Darfin sent a scroll.
Do we know any clerics? No Goldrill.
No, Darfin sent a scroll.
I
We
know,
You
but
don't
have
need
the
the cleric.
What
We
if
can just
we-
cast it?
You-
Yeah, but what if we mess it up?
Well, we should have Goldroot. Yeah, probably Goldroot.
Goldroot's a
But what if we
cleric
did them
now,
both at
right?
the same time? What if we did Zone? Because he said it might not be that they're truthful, but what if we did Zone of Truth
Yeah, but
and the thing?
what if we just tell them that we're trying to solve their murder? Like we want to give
I mean, I
them
guess
just.
so.
Although Marlo may not want to talk to us because
Right, but that's the problem, right? We have to convince him somehow.
Then we-
Where does she go?
where did who go? Beatrice?
Beatrice.
We
Beatrice. Is she? We need to hunt her down. Is she still gone?
as far as I know, I haven't.
You did exile her too, along with Marlo Evans.
Right,
But
but
Marlo
clearly
Evans
he
is
didn't go
back.
anywhere.
We could. How
Yeah.
many things can we ask? They just talk for 5 minutes.
Yeah, what is the limitation
Not
on
familiar
the
with
spell?
this. Did it come with an instruction booklet?
Right, we're kind of looking at Kiona's trying to read the spell scroll. Like, what does it do exactly?
So, speak with dead. You grant the semblance of life and intelligence to a corpse of your choice within range, and allowing to answer the questions you pose. The corpse must still have a mouth and can't be undead. Spell fails if the corpse is the target of the spell within the last 10 days. Until the spell ends, you can ask the corpse up to 5 questions. So it lasts for 10 minutes, and you can ask up to 5 questions. The corpse only knows what it knew in life, including the languages it knew. Answers are usually brief, cryptic, or repetitive, and the corpse is under no compulsion to offer a truthful answer if you are hostile to it or it recognizes you as an enemy. The spell doesn't return the creature's soul to its body, only its animating spirit. Thus, the corpse can't learn new information, doesn't comprehend anything that has happened since it died, and it can't speculate about future events.
I'd write these down before.
Well, I feel like we should come up with the questions before we do it.
Yeah, that's
'cause
what I said.
I think we've come up against that in the past, haven't we?
Yeah.
And Foodle says, well, what do you think? Darfin said to look into the means stuff. Well, finding out if Beatrice is back or not sounds important too. And then let's ask him who killed him.
Yeah. Because they might have taken her
Right.
too if they were together.
Right, but what the mean stuff? Like we haven't figured that one out yet because we thought it was a spell last time, but I haven't been able to see if it was magic
Yeah.
on the corpse this time. So I don't know if it was a spell or if it was something else. We should definitely look for Beatrice, though. I don't think he was. He had suggested a couple of things that might be able to do something like it, but nothing that sounded really solid.
So that people can see. This is what
Oh, yeah.
Foodle's saying in the chat.
Right, over here on our roll 20. So, but if we ask him who, then we should ask him how, maybe, but maybe he wouldn't know how. But he would know how they killed Buford, though. Maybe. How did you kill? What did you do to Buford? Maybe.
But now we're assuming that he is the one who killed Buford.
Right.
We were also, I think Monster was also going to ask the Wayfarer and or that guy on the docks, the old man.
Gary?
Yes, Gary. If because they would know some of the history of the city, I think. If there was anything in the spot where that garden is now, why is that spot particularly? Is it particularly important? Like, did they build it on an ancient sigil or something? It needs to be watered in blood or something.
We have an automatic built-in sacrificial
What are you
altar.
What are you gonna do first?
All right, Kiona, Boodle.
Yeah. I mean, right. We definitely should go to the place where they found him. We should investigate the body ourselves and see if we can detect some kind of magic with it.
Yeah.
And probably go talk to the Wayfarer and Gary, like you said.
All right. Well, let's do it in order. Why don't we go talk to the Wayfarer and Gary first? That way,
That way we
If
know
they
if
can
we're looking
tell
for
us.
something when we get there.
yeah, I think that would be.
Right. Let's go then.
All right.
So we'll go out to the dock where Gary is? Question mark.
Sure.
Yeah, we.
Where Gary
And-
hangs out.
You see Halius Garon, aka Gowie, the sweet and rambunctious young child that you encountered in the Leaky Spoon Tavern, which had phased out of time and space. But here, of course, you know that he is an old man and something of a prophet. Sitting, his sort of gangly, thin, knock-kneed legs crossed beneath him, his ascetic, emaciated form under the rags that he wears, sitting under his little awning shelter at the edge of the long stone dock. Even now, with life returning to the ancient city, he does not want to go into it. Still hanging out at the edge of the docks, welcoming visitors with a smile and a kind word, but never returning to the city itself. As you approach him, he looks up, his bushy brows climbing his forehead, a small smile disturbing the wispy white whiskers of his beard. Ah, hello again, my friends. What can I do for you?
Hi, Gary. We were just. Hi, Gary. Gilly. Gilly.
Gilly.
We were just wondering if you made note of anybody. Well, Kiona will look at Mazra because she thinks Mazra would be able to say it more clearly than she can.
You know about this city, right? City history.
Yes, a thing or two.
Okay. There's this place, and she'll kind of, is there like a map? Have we mapped the city at all?
Sure. Yeah, you
Okay.
can say that you've mapped the city.
So she'll show him a map and point to the place where the garden is. This area, is it something? Was it something important?
I understand there was a young gnome who was restoring it as a public park.
Yes.
Other than that, there's nothing particularly special about that spot. It was a park back in the times when Dal Kalash was first occupied.
Did anybody ever die there?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Remember when we exiled those people a couple of weeks back?
Yes. The ones who murdered the gnome gardener.
Well, that's what we thought for sure, but did you happen to notice, since you're out here all the time, either of them coming back?
No. Not here, not to the main docks. But the city stretches on along the coastline for quite a ways. Most of it quite uninhabited, isn't it?
Right.
They could have
Won't be
come
hard to
ashore
sneak
somewhere
in.
else.
It's true.
I didn't see anything myself, but then I am asleep most of the time.
Well, we figured it was worth asking anyway.
Of course. You know, you could come by more often if you like.
Well,
An old
sure.
man gets lonely all the way out here.
Gary,
Yes.
do you need some pants?
Oh, yes.
I'll take naps with you, Gary. Foodle says.
Thank you, Foodle.
Do you want
I
like
look forward to many naps together.
a house, shack?
No. I've become accustomed to this lifestyle. My little tent here
Mom,
is good
Do
enough.
you want a shack?
Can I build you a shack at the edge of the docks?
Can I interest you in?
Although it would be nice to have a little bit of shelter for when the rains come in.
Well, that's what I was trying to, you know.
I don't have anything to pay you.
No.
Yes, there was
That
Collie.
wouldn't be necessary.
No payment.
Who was it?
Besides, you are our greeter at the door, essentially. So you're already kind of doing a job. We'll take care of it.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much.
And we'll definitely come visit you more often.
Do you like children?
I love children
All right. We'll send some children.
so
to
much
you.
that I become a child every time I dream.
Hmm. Well, there's lots of kids around here that need
Mauser's like, good, somewhere I can send them.
guidance. This is the Gary Glow Up project has begun.
The Gary Glow Up Project. No, I'm just telling Collie about Diogenes, the
Oh.
ancient Greek philosopher, who is a real. He was very based.
Amazing.
Talk about being
Alexander was
uncomfortable
like,
with
"Please,
yourself."
please come with me on my journeys," and he was like, "No, get out of here."
Okay.
Amazing.
Majra makes a note in her book. Get Gary some clothes. Have some people build him like a little house on the end of the docks, and send children to like hang out with him.
Oh my goodness. And the ghouls.
And the ghouls. 4-step plan
And the ghouls.
for Gary Goodness.
Yeah, amazing.
The ghouls earning their aristocratic wages.
Right.
They walk up to Gary in tuxedos and top hats and walking canes capped with diamonds.
Hello, my name is Ryan. Only Australian.
What does a fancy Australian sound like?
I don't know.
I can only
Probably hedonists,
like
but still.
yeah.
I-
Anytime I think of an Australian accent, I can only think of like a bogan, you know?
well, kangaroos and I don't know, octopuses.
I can only think of the guy who was interviewed by the news who was like, yeah, some guy ran his car into me mate's business and then drove away, and so I chased him in my undies. Like, I can only think of that guy.
So basically, New Zealand is a posh Australian accent.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing.
That's the one, Ghost. Yeah. Collie knows that one.
I love it. So good.
There's another a crazy TV interview of like two twin women, like identical twins, who their mom was like a victim of a carjacking, and they're telling the news about this, and they're speaking in tandem with each other. Like every word they're saying
That's
together.
crazy.
It's so creepy.
It's so
Word-
creepy.
Word for word. Word for word. It's so weird.
They're here.
Yeah. They literally, and they have like the blue floral dresses like the girls
Oh my
in,
god. That's
in
wild.
The Shining. Like, they look like adult twins from The Shining. It's crazy. Anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, look it up on YouTube. It's wild.
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
go AFK
So
real
good.
quick. I can hear you though.
right.
I'll be right back.
Yeah. So you're done with Gary. The park was never anything significant. Not like some sort of human sacrifice site or anything like that.
Good to cover all the bases.
Yep. Gary's a good person to talk to. He's the only person still alive who remembers what this city was like thousands of years ago. Where are you going next?
Probably just to check in maybe with the Wayfarer again.
Okay. Yeah. So you know where to find him. He's at the Lighthouse of Pharos,
In
as
my
always.
kitchen eating my celery.
No,
Mazra, you really need to get over that.
Ever.
he's at the Lighthouse
He
of Pharos.
owes me 4 copper for that celery.
Oh, honestly, Mazra. It's just
Celery
so
doesn't
over
grow
this
on trees.
beef that she has with him.
Look, I know he ascended me and gave me a god weapon. God damn it, celery.
Mazra hates it because he was there. She just...
It's like when your girlfriend's mom drives you to the mall.
Right, yeah. Yeah, every time the Wayfarer shows up, Mazra's like...
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The Lighthouse of Pharos, as always, is burning with its distinctive blue flame that you know is a sure sign that the Wayfarer is there. You climb up the stairs to the top, where the beacon is located and burning, and you see the Wayfarer sitting there, cross-legged, sort of carefully unfolding a little handkerchief out on the floor in front of him. It says, "Oh, hello. I wasn't expecting you."
I feel like you're always expecting me.
Well, maybe not this time. I thought you would come here third. Anyway.
Kiona processes that after her most recent lesson with Denari. She's just like, huh.
Anyway, don't mind me. I was just about to have a little midday lunch. But, you know, if you don't mind my eating while we talk, please let me know what you came to ask.
Kiona will look at Mazra.
We're trying to solve another murder.
Another murder?
Right.
The murder.
You mean the murder of Marlo Evans?
Yes. The one who we thought did the murder was murdered.
How ironic.
Well, and also he wasn't supposed to be here anymore, so...
The Wayfarer takes out a little paper package and he unfolds it and lays out on his handkerchief 2 hard-boiled eggs. Foodle, flashback to this morning. You could have sworn there were 2 eggs more in your pantry than were actually there when you got up to cook your breakfast. You thought you were going crazy. But here's the Wayfarer with 2 eggs. Well, what do you want to know? He's like slowly peeling the shells off his eggs onto the handkerchief.
Go for it, Kim.
Well... It's possible that, I guess, somebody murdered him because he had information that... about the first one, but he wasn't an inspired, and... I mean... We're just not sure what they're doing to them.
Well, we're pretty sure that Buford Veggiefoot was murdered for being inspired.
Right, but why would Marlo be murdered then? Except maybe to
I don't
cover
know.
up something.
Possibly. Possibly to cover up the original murder?
Would there be a way to tell if someone entered the city recently from an unoccupied space relatively easily?
No. There's a lot of shoreline in this city. Most of it hasn't been occupied for centuries. But if he made his way all the way to the park, somebody must have seen him along the way.
Right.
He must have made contact with somebody.
Is it possible that he was dumped there? Like Buford? Or Buford was not dumped there. He was dumped somewhere else, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But Marlo being found, I mean, it feels like if they put him there, they wanted him to be found.
Maybe to throw you off the scent. He takes one of the eggs and pops it into his mouth.
But I don't know what it means, Foodle. Why would they want him to be found? Right, like you said, maybe to throw me off the scent. Those eggs look delicious, though.
Yeah.
They are delicious. Want half of my other one, Foodle? And the Wayfarer splits one of Foodle's eggs in two and hands half over to him. The sheer generosity of giving you back 25% of the eggs that he took.
I must have just
Amazing.
miscounted.
Oh, Foodle.
Huh. Right, it doesn't make any sense. Well, what else did Darfin say in his note? Something about... Oh, do you know anybody that knows how to cast the spells to talk to dead people?
Dead people? The priests of Grignoir might know someone.
They don't like us.
One of them might
Wow.
even be able to do it.
They don't like us.
Right, they're not very big fans of us.
You have that way with people.
Well,
I don't
you know,
what you're talking
sometimes
about.
You should maybe reflect upon that.
No.
Might be really handy to maintain good relations with different factions who might be able to help you with things
dying.
from time to time.
I'm dying. Oh my gosh. Mazra. Kiona
Yeah.
says,
I love that. Maybe you should reflect upon that. No.
Kiona pulls the two scrolls that Darfin sent in the letter out from the way and says, "What if we used them at the same time, though? Like if we got somebody to cast that spell and we used the truth spell, would it make them tell us the truth about what happened? Would they work together?" Do you think?
The Wayfarer just shrugs. I don't know.
Right, okay. Well, I guess we gotta go ask a cleric or something then. Well, thanks for the information, I suppose. She'll kind of look at Mazra, unless you got something else.
Enjoy your eggs.
Thank you. I will. Then he eats the last half of his.
She's like,
Mazra,
Good luck on investigation.
thanks. I'll see you soon. Thanks for the
All right.
eggs. Thanks for the help. Bye.
All right. Where are you off to next?
well, I guess we should try speaking to.
Do we want to investigate the garden
I don't really.
park?
I don't know.
I feel like there won't be much there.
Yeah, I agree.
We could definitely investigate the corpse, see if it's got any magic on it.
Yeah, well, let's leave the park as a last resort.
Right.
I guess.
All right then. I suppose we collect the body and take it to the clerics, the priests of Grignor, and we take the scrolls and yeah. We need questions first. Mazra, Foodle, what do we ask them outside of who killed you? How they killed you? But outside of that, if they don't know how they killed him, then maybe how they killed Buford, because
Well,
we need to know what they're doing to him to make their insides go all mushy.
yeah.
And what they have against the Quori. And the Inspired. Right, well, we gotta figure out which ones, because we only have 5. Right. Mazra, what would you ask him?
I have so many questions I want to ask, but I don't know if Foodle would think of them. 16 intelligence. There you go. Yeah, use your judgment,
Ooh.
Collie.
Nice.
Use your judgment. 16 intelligence is a pretty good roll.
Where were you killed? That's a good one. Okay. Where were you killed? Who killed you? How? Where?
Make sure you ask directly.
Well, I'm asking.
I feel like did
Oh, no.
anything out of the ordinary is it's too broad. Because out of the ordinary could be that he ate a different breakfast or something.
Hmm. Why? Why were you killed? Why would be a good question, right? Right? Why?
Maybe, but he might not know that. It's some
Right.
eldritch thing. He may have no idea why he was.
Well, I mean, who, how, where, and I feel like those are your.
Right.
Is Beatrice still alive? Maybe.
Well, he would only know of
Last
his
he
last-
knows,
yeah.
right? Who?
Where were you killed?
Do we need to specify about Buford's death? In its own question.
You could. So we're gonna do.
Who killed
killed
you?
you?
How were you killed? Where were you killed? Why do you think you were killed? 1, 2, 3,
I'm
4.
questionable
Maybe
about that one.
you don't like that one.
We could
All
leave
right.
one or two free just in case other things.
Okay, so
come
then,
up.
if he doesn't know how he was killed, we should ask, how was Buford killed? I think, as a fallback question.
Yeah, he might not know though. Just
Right. Right, that's what I was thinking too, Foodle.
All right.
He might not know for sure, but if he thinks maybe.
Yeah, as long as it's worded in a way where he can't answer as a yes or no.
Okay. Where were you killed? That's specific enough. What location? I don't know. How were you killed? I feel like these are all specific enough. How? Who? My third question. Right. All right. Well, I think I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe 5 if he doesn't know how he was killed.
Yeah.
We can ask for Buford's thing. I don't think that I should be the person to ask because I stumble over my words all the time, Mazra.
Should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. I guess that's a good point,
Oh,
Foodle.
yeah.
Maybe we should give this list of questions to the priest or something.
Who do we trust?
Oh. We could.
I like the idea of disguising yourselves, so I'm not playing an NPC asking the questions and then answering the questions.
Right.
How are we supposed to disguise ourselves?
Well, I've got
I'm
a
green.
disguise kit.
I'm green, and there are no other orcs in the world.
Yeah, I mean, you could make me look like somebody else, I suppose.
I mean, I can use the I've got a disguise kit. Like actual physical. I can make you a disguise.
Alright. Disguise me.
So Kiona will do her best to make Mazra look like another orc.
Okay. Yeah.
Do I have to roll that? I don't know how that works.
It's a toolkit.
Right.
So you roll the toolkit skill. So basically, it's your proficiency, since you'd be proficient in it. It's your proficiency plus whichever ability score modifier you are using for it. So basically, you can theoretically use any ability score with a toolkit. You just need to be able to justify it. So which ability would you use?
I would think she would use her maybe her dexterity, because that's like physical things, doing things like that.
Precision.
Trying to
Precision of wardrobe change and makeup and whatever. Hey, there we go. Right on.
Nice.
All right. And skillfully, as you apply the different makeups and clothings and a wig, false tusks, you transform Mazra from a grumpy orc into another grumpy orc.
An orc-sized gnome. Oh my gosh.
An orc-sized gnome.
Amazing.
All right.
So who am I?
So
I'm
where
and
when are you casting this Speak with Dead scroll on?
In the presence of / getting maybe one of the priests to do it / like somebody that knows how it would work, so that if something goes awry, we can ask them about it. And also, Kiona would ask if they think the Zone of Truth would work on top of that.
Ask who? Sorry?
The priests that maybe know how Talk with Dead works.
Hmm. And so as
Will
you...
the Zone of Truth make them tell us the truth?
It is theoretically possible. Far more likely, however, is the magic of the two spells cast on top of each other might nullify themselves.
Oh. Well, we wouldn't want that to happen. So I suppose we just use the one spell then.
I think that would be what.
Are you ready?
Give me the list. Write it down on a piece.
So I put them. Yeah. So not the Buford one unless that's needed. I put them in the Roll20.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So whenever you're ready, you can pull out the scroll and cast the spell.
All right. So Mazra doing it?
Yes. I think. Well. Yeah. I mean,
She can
whoever
spell cast,
casts-
so
yeah. I mean. Sounds good.
if that's okay, goes.
All right. Yeah. Yep, you can do that. Cast a spell.
Fiona and Foodle
Yes.
will remain out of sight of the corpse, probably, but within earshot so that they can hear what is said.
Okay.
So as you read this spell, the sigils on the parchment glow a necromantic green, because green is the color of necromancy. No question. I will not be taking criticisms or varying opinions on that. And Carly, you're wrong. But that's okay. It's okay to be wrong. We value all opinions here, even opinions that are incorrect. Yeah.
Carly, no. I agree
and
about
as the sigils on the page glow green, the dead, still, and cold corpse of
Marlo Evans.
what the hell was his name? Marlo Evans. Suddenly sort of stirs. The eyes snap open, also glowing green, and the corpse draws in a heavy, sucking breath.
Sir. Hello, sir.
Should I interpret that as a question?
No. It's like getting someone's attention, not like question
The
mark.
corpse, staring straight up at the ceiling, turns his head to one side to look at you.
I
His
have
face sort of expressionless, jaw slack, eyes wide open.
some questions for you, sir.
Just stares at you, slack jawed, eyes wide.
Who killed you?
Don't know. Came from behind. Did not see.
Where were you killed?
Oh yeah, I could change the song. This is probably better. Oh, this is like too much like church though. I wasn't quite going
This is
for
perfect.
I wasn't quite going for like Catholic mass. This is good enough. Was it Where Were You Killed?
Yes.
City. An empty part of the city. Dark. No one there. Easy to hide.
What's your best guess as to why you were killed?
Too close to truth. Real killers must have found me.
Kind of glances back.
Kiona will kind of. Who killed Buford?
Who killed Buford?
and you see a black tear roll out of the corner of Marlowe's eye. He says, I killed Buford. We killed Buford.
Did... Hmm?
One more question. That was number 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How did they kill Buford would be the next. Yeah.
How did you kill Buford?
Lured him to the shrine. Middle of the night. Ambushed. Beaten. Ritual in the dark. I didn't know. I didn't know. Until I died, I didn't know what I had done. And with the 5th question answered, it lets out a long, low gurgling, and the light fades from Marlowe's eyes, and the head just sort of rolls a little bit like.
That was disturbing.
Oh, we gotta figure out what the ritual was.
So it seems like somebody, like maybe Marlowe and Beatrice, did want to do something to him, but they just thought maybe, I don't know, he'd get beat up or something or whatever. Clearly somebody used it to do something else, and used those two to like get at Buford, did some kind of ritual thing.
Right.
At least we know it was done at the shrine.
Right. We can go back and ask them again. They seemed awfully surprised we were investigating that day.
Mm-hmm. I assume him and Beatrice. He says to...
I thought maybe he meant Beatrice too. But who knows?
Because he said that...
There were clearly more than them there.
Yeah, well, it seems like they didn't know what was going to happen. But whoever orchestrated it used them to get him there.
Right. Right.
You don't think... Well, We couldn't figure out if there was anyone else that could cast this spell, right? Any of the clerics?
Well, we don't know which spell it was. We have some ideas what it might have been, but nothing solid.
Speak with dead?
Oh,
do you think...
I thought you meant the spell that used to kill him.
No, do you think they'd be mad if we dug up Buford?
Well, we gotta ask them first if they know the spell.
Right.
So, Kiona will find the person that was helping them out earlier and ask if they know how to cast that Speak with Dead spell.
And the priest of Grignoir, dressed in brown robes, her hands in her sleeves, hood pulled over her head, kind of tilts her head and looks at you quizzically. That spell is known to the high priest?
Would it be possible to get Buford out and use that spell on him?
No.
No?
No. Each guest interred in our crypts in the loving embrace of the Collector has that spell cast on them to divulge any secrets they care to unburden themselves of, now that the burdens of life are past. Buford Veggiefoot was reduced to nothing but a shell. There was nothing to return to his body to answer the questions. No soul, no animating spirit, no ego, nor memory.
I was thinking the second
Both
one too, Flumps.
The name generator giveth, and the name generator giveth poorly.
I mean, it's very gnomish, you know.
It is very gnomish, yeah. And he was a gardener.
I think it's time that we do some exploring in the greater part of the city that we don't. We need to see if we can find out where people are hiding out. There's clearly something else going on here.
Ask some of those kids that.
Right. That's what I'm thinking, Foodle. Right, we could ask the kids if there's anybody that regularly leaves the central part of the town and which direction they go. Maybe, Foodle.
All right. So you're gonna look for tracks. Where are you starting?
Well, we were gonna try to find the spot where he was murdered, I think.
Hmm.
We want to start at the body's
Now-
location.
Right. So like where the body was found.
Right, in the park.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you know that the abandoned section of the city is huge. And
Right.
you would absolutely be shooting in the dark if you just started combing that. Because you are, you know, your settlement only occupies sort of a small portion of the city.
Right.
Most of it is abandoned. And so so you head back to the park where if you eat the brain you get the memories, right? I think it's worth a try. I think there's only one way to confirm that, Golden. So yeah, heading back to the park, you find once again sort of the shallow grave that Marlo Evans was buried in. The food will give me a survival check to see if you can find any tracks, any clues about where he was brought in from.
$28.
28,
Baby.
yeah.
Nice.
It's really not hard. It hasn't been too many days since the body was found here. And while they haven't closed it off because modern crime scene investigation techniques have not been invented, it's in a part of the city that was slated for near future settlement. And so people don't really frequent this area, and certainly not since Buford was killed and then this happened. People are kind of staying away.
So much for this park becoming a
from this park.
public space.
Yeah. Yikes. Well, maybe in the future after this blows over, but you never know. You never know. Central Park in New York is still a public space despite all the crazy stuff that's gone on in there.
Lots of murders too, I assume.
Yeah. Sure. And you find some disturbances in sort of the overgrown grass and tangled weeds that hint at a body having been dragged through the park to where this hole was dug. We'll do this. And sort of following that trail, Foodle, you can see that it moves deeper into the abandoned parts of the city. We're gonna do a skill challenge here. So simply, you need to have 3 successes before 3 failures. Given that most of you, well, all of you, are sort of country bumpkins, and this is a big city of stone and concrete and ruins and whatnot, some of your skills may be at disadvantage. I'm not going to tell you which ones. It'll have to wait until you declare it.
I mean, Fiona's got almost nothing valid for this, you guys. I'm just letting you know this is gonna be a stretch.
So, so we're like looking for clues and footprints and stuff.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. You're trying to track where this body came from.
All right.
Can Kiona use perception to see maybe if the trail seems to be leading toward any kind of like hovel or something that would be a good hiding place to murder somebody? Question. I guess.
Yeah, give it a try. Which
Her perception.
which skill? Her perception. Okay.
Yeah.
That's going to be at disadvantage
At
because
disadvantage. Okay.
yeah, because there's a lot of buildings. It's a little bit of information overload in terms of visuals. Still got a 17. So you're able to spot little splotches, little stains on the cobbles that look kind of like dried blood. And following those back, you find that they lead into a small house. Kind of like an apartment, almost. Entering into this place, it's clear that it's been abandoned for a very, very, very long time. Perhaps centuries. Perhaps when the city itself was destroyed and depopulated. But you see a stone slab on the floor of this tiny hovel that has like a massive splotch of dried blood on top of it. And then another trail of stains significantly older than the trail that you followed and the splotch, kind of going out the back door. It almost looks like the body was dragged in here. It was kept in here for a while and then moved to its final shallow grave.
Kiona will talk through that whole thing as they're finding it, I guess.
Okay. Right.
I guess we'll follow that trail then.
The trail quickly disappears a few yards out the back door and down the lane. And we're gonna have to move to Collie or Wolf, Poodle or Basra.
You want me to go or you want to go, Polly? Either way.
There are no urchins around, Poodle. This part of the city has not been frequented in a very long time. There are parts of the city where the urchins will sort of leave the safety of your small settlement and go out exploring and getting into trouble and things like that. There are many parts of the city, though, where they simply won't go, believing that it's haunted, cursed, that threats are there, and this is one of them. As part of the skill challenge, when food will be able to go back or have already asked the urchins when we're leaving their area. Should I look at the different skill? I think you should. I think you should. This is a pretty thoroughly abandoned part of the city that you're in. And you guys know this. Try to look for more tracks of survival? Sure. Yeah. It should only be these people's tracks, yeah. Roll at disadvantage because this is over like hard terrain. Like you're looking for tracks on a cobblestone street, not through the forest floor like you're used to. There are not going to be any broken branches or sort of disturbed undergrowth here. All right, 21 survival at disadvantage. You do indeed see not dried blood, but scuff marks on the cobbles, indicative of something heavy being dragged across the cobblestones. You find one scuff mark, then another, forming a trail that heads deeper into this abandoned quarter and then left. Sort of taking a left turn down a road. You come before a warehouse at the edge of the shoreline. And that's 2 successes. We're going to bring it to Mazra.
All right. Probably investigation.
Okay, what are you investigating?
I think investigating to see if this seems like it's, considering this whole area has kind of been abandoned, does this look like it's kind of a place that has signs that people have been using it, and everywhere else around is like it's abandoned.
Okay. Are you going inside the warehouse?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay. Sure. Roll me investigation.
Is it regular or disadvantage?
Regular. Nice, 24. So,
Actually, you know what? I rolled a 9.
mhm.
So, well, it doesn't really matter because I've got that thing now, so it's technically a 10.
All right.
Not that it matters. But...
So you enter the warehouse. It looks thoroughly abandoned. It has been abandoned for ever since the city was struck by the meteor. In fact, as you enter and walk through it, you can feel sort of a cool sea breeze on your face, and the whole back wall of the warehouse is crumbled away and exposed to open air. It looks like when the cataclysm struck Dal Kalash, this building bore some of the brunt of the shockwave, and the back wall crumbled, but it was far enough away that it was sheltered by some of the other buildings from being completely flattened. So the building is sort of like half crumbled. It looked fully intact from the front when you entered it, but as soon as you walked in, you could see that it's almost like just the facade is left, and the whole sort of back end of the building has been blasted away. Moving through, you walk up the stairs to the second level, and there you find clear signs of habitation. Somebody had made a camp here. Somebody had been staying here for a little while. There is a lantern turned on its side that's out of fuel. There's a little sort of tent that's set up with a bedroll underneath. A book set down beside the bed, and a pack of travel supplies. And with an investigation of 25, you recognize this pack full of travel supplies as the one that was given to Marlo Evans when he was exiled from the city. Poodle asks, why did he stay here? Did he want to kill more people?
Well, and if he came back, then Beatrice probably came back too.
I don't think so. He wouldn't have seen his face, but he actually cried a tear. I don't know if his intention was actually to kill Buford, but I don't think he didn't strike me as a cold-hearted murderer. He could have been lying, but...
Yeah, and then Foodle followed up with, well, no, because he said he didn't know until he was killed that he had been the one to kill Buford.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he just wanted to come back here.
He did say something about getting too close. Maybe he was trying to figure it out.
Maybe. Quite possible.
But who would even know he was here?
Or killed Buford.
I guess if they found him out.
Yeah.
Poodle says, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe he was trying to figure out how they used him. But who is they?
Mm-hmm. Still don't know.
We need to go back to that priest, the place where the ritual happened.
Poodle asks,
Rod,
what does
look at
this
the
book
book.
say? So when you pick up the book and open it, you can see that it was Marlo Evans' journal. The first half of the journal is just your average everyday kind of journal. Dear diary, it was sunny today, blah, blah, blah. Seeming to detail his daily life and his comings and goings in Dal Kalash. It writes of his friendship with Buford Veggiefoot and his complex feelings around his budding illicit romance with Buford's wife. How he can't live a lie anymore. He has to be honest about how he feels. But he feels deep guilt and remorse for what they are doing to Buford by doing this behind his back. It speaks of how he and what was his wife's name? I have it open in a doc
Beatrice.
right here. Beatrice. He and Beatrice visited the Temple of Starabia, met with the priest there, Mandashir, to seek counsel about this, which of course Mandashir counseled them to come clean to Buford and end their affair. However, Marlo doubted he was able to do that. He mentions coming across Polivier Putt, this agitator against the inspired, and how Polivier and his goons mistreat Buford and his wife because of Buford's sort of status as an inspired, having a Korai spirit inside him. There's an entry that expresses shock, dismay, and some complicated feelings of guilt for also experiencing a little bit of anticipation at Buford's murder. So, like, you know, a little bit of relief. You know, he feels guilty because there's a part of him that is relieved that Buford has been murdered. Because that obviously clears the way for himself and Beatrice to legitimize their relationship a little bit more openly sometime in the future. The journal speaks of becoming a suspect in the murder. There's one page that is splashed with water and smells a little bit of sea salt. Oh, Bard. So sorry to hear that. So sorry, Bard.
Loved you, Bard.
All the hugs coming your way, Bard.
Feel free to DM me and tell me what happened. I don't know if I'll be able to respond properly tonight. but I'd love to be there for you. So sorry to hear that, Bard. Yeah, truckload of emergency hugs. This journal entry, splashed with seawater, is a bitter and emotionally driven scrawl about disbelief that he and Beatrice have been falsely convicted of murder, have been banished, fear about what they're going to do now, where they're going to go, if the people of Dal Kalash have essentially condemned them to a certain doom by letting them out into the forbidden territory on their own. After that, there's another entry dated a few days later that Marlowe has left Beatrice, parted ways with her after he dropped her off on the shore. He pleaded with her to come back to Dal Kalash with him to clear their name. But Beatrice was resigned, believed that she has been justly, somehow cosmically punished for her infidelity towards Buford, that this is sort of a fate that she deserves. Marlowe is unwilling to accept that this happened, unwilling to accept that the murderer of a man that not only did he consider to be his good friend, but a good friend that he had secretly wronged behind his back, the true killer is going off scot-free. And it, almost thinking to himself, out of the same source of feelings as Beatrice, but with, arriving at somewhat of a different conclusion, that, he owes it to Buford to find out who really killed him. And so he has come back to Dal Kalash alone, snuck into an abandoned quarter of the city, set up a little camp in a warehouse, while he tries his best to conduct his own investigation unseen. The next couple of entries become increasingly indicative of a mental state that is rapidly deteriorating, as he complains of increasingly bad headaches, of nightmares, half remembered, eyes staring at him from the darkness. And through it all, he writes that in his dreams, somebody named Mendax is coming for him. I'll spell that out for you. Someone named Mendax.
Mendax, the fresh maker.
Coming for him. Jesus, Woof. He doesn't know who Mendax is. But Kiona, when you look at this word in the book, as Foodle and Mazra see Mendax, what you see printed on the page, Kiona, clear as day, is the word liar in place of his name. No matter how many times you blink your eye, you look away, Foodle and Mazra say it's Mendax, like, who's Mendax? Have you ever heard of him? You don't see Mendax on the page, you just see liar everywhere where Mendax is mentioned.
It says liar, though.
Arlo Evans becomes increasingly unhinged in his writing over the next couple of days, obsessing over this name Mendax. Every time he feels like he gets one step closer to the truth, investigating sort of the other suspects of the murder, Polivier Putt, Phallus, going near the Shrine of Staravia, his, where part of this break-in kind of occurred that you guys, kind of connected to Buford's murder. He writes that the headaches get worse, that the feeling of being pursued by this Mendax individual, being hunted by this Mendax individual, becomes stronger and stronger. He wonders who this is. Is this Mendax the key to all of this? Why does he feel this way? Why is he experiencing these things? The nightmares begin to bleed into reality so that he doesn't quite understand. He's seeing some of the things in his nightmares stare at him from out of the shadows in reality. His final entry is simply, I think he's found me. And that is it.
I don't know, Foodle. I don't know what. Best thing we can do is find out who did it.
I don't think it was another Quora, dude.
I'm not sure it wasn't. Liar.
Voodoo, we worked with the best information we had. Maybe you could ask the Wayfarer.
I think that might be a good idea.
Like all the time you need, Photo. You said this kind of warehouse, like the wall is just like open to the elements, like.
Yep.
So is this? It's kind of like at the edge. Is it like the edge of the city is like facing the ocean, essentially?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically right on the shoreline, and this part of the city is where the shoreline has moved up significantly, right? So it's kind of overlooking the sunken part of the city,
So
where where the old shoreline was located.
Mazra is going to. She doesn't want to
Foodle
make.
walks down to the water.
What?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just Foodle walks down to the water.
She's gonna wait till he comes back then.
Mm. Yeah, Foodle taking some alone time down by the water to reflect on what's been revealed here.
Yeah, no rush with Foodle. They'll wait for him.
Why does that word look different to me?
Or I think.
We've got to take this book to the Wayfarer.
Do I detect any good or evil on it?
Nope,
Okay.
you do not.
Oh, that reminds me, though. Kiona will pull out the wand of detect magic and use it while they're waiting for Foodle.
You don't detect any magic out here. Only the silent lapping of waves against the stone shore. Yeah, Foodle comes back looking angry. You're right, Kiona. Can't change what happened, but I sure as hell want to find out who really did this. It's the least we can do, like you said.
So
Can't let it keep happening.
once Foodle comes back, Madra's like, I'm not going to make a habit of this, but this is a security concern. And she's gonna pull out the Ortskara and take a moment to focus her minds in the way that she has learned to do. And is just going to basically fix the wall part so that people can't just walk. So just concentrate and just try and create a secure wall that shuts this off.
Okay.
Once again, thinking
Yep.
of the security of the.
So think of like Toph the Earthbender. There's just this stone wall that slides up from the ground.
Mazara, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Is certainly a wondrous device.
Of course, it suddenly becomes very dark in here.
Right.
Not pitch black, but pretty gloomy.
Right, well, I guess it's back to the Wayfarer then.
Kiona, do you have the light spell?
I do have dancing light.
Can you light up the space for us, please?
Yeah. Turn. Turns out I got these handy little free spells that I'll never use.
Perfect.
They don't make me surge.
You know what though? Like, honestly, I know for a fact that you cut your teeth on 3rd edition, and cantrips were so trash in 3rd edition.
Which is why I just assume that they mostly are still that
Yeah.
way. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, what is
great
this
now.
gonna be?
They're great in 5th edition, yes. They're fantastic in 5th edition.
She's a gnome now, right?
Yes, she has gnomish cunning right now too. But yes, she'll put up 4 little lights just hovering in the
Right.
corners of the room.
Yep. Okay. Are you heading back now?
Might as well.
Okay.
Masha will bring
Yeah.
the book.
So,
And Kiona will bring her lights.
okay. And with the book, the lights, and a fiercely determined little red-headed gnome Foodle in tow, you make your way back into Pharos.
Kiona can
and
put her
occupied
arm around
quarter.
him, like over his shoulders.
Yeah, yeah.
She's his size.
That's pretty cute. Into the occupied quarter of Dalkalash. Up to the lighthouse of Pharos, where you see the Wayfarer snacking on a little wedge of cheese. That Mazra, you were saving for breakfast tomorrow.
This is completely.
I like how this has become a meme.
Can I do something for flavor? Not actually meant to be. Okay.
Yeah.
This is completely flavor. Majra gives this look, and then she pulls out her crossbow and shoots a bolt right into the cheese.
Yeah.
Mazra.
Roll a d20.
I'm gonna roll a real d20. He's pink tonight. 18.
18. The cheese, the bolt fires through the cheese, and the bolt sticks in the wall behind the Wayfarer, and the cheese sticks to it. And he looks at it, and he looks back at Mazra, and he kind of goes like, that was impressive. You know, he gives an expression like, that was impressive. He's impressed by that. If you had rolled low, then it was going to propel the cheese over the edge of the lighthouse into the water with a splash, and then the Wayfarer was going to admonish Mazra about how now nobody can have it. Nobody gets it now.
That's amazing. Gosh. Fucking guy.
Well, welcome back. What did you find out?
Marlowe wasn't the one that killed Buford. Or at least not on purpose.
Oh?
Look, we found his journal. Can you explain why this word shows different to me than it does for them? She'll point out. She'll flip through the journal. And do you know who that is? Or have any idea who it might be?
And the Wayfarer holds up the book to Mazra and says, well, what word do you see here?
Mendax.
Mendax is a word in the primeval tongue of the Quori.
It means liar.
It means liar. Of course, in the old times of Dalkalash and this land that you now call the Forbidden Territory, we, inspired, can see this word as other words in the primeval tongue appear to translate themselves to us instinctively. But it's not so for the slaves of the ancient inspired, who themselves aspired, see what I did there, to become inspired and fused with a Quori spirit someday. So in order to communicate with those slaves, a new language had to be established. It would look like this in a way that is communicable to both Quori, fused inspired, and non-inspired. like yourselves, Poodle and Mazra, and he pulls a pencil out of an inner pocket of his dusty, tattered old cloak, and writes a word in the margin next to Mendax, and he turns the book around and shows it to you, and the word is Mandash.
What does Kiona see?
You see Mandash.
Oh.
As
Well.
for who Mandax is, some kind of liar or deceiver, it doesn't refer to any sort of legendary individual in particular. It's more a descriptor of a person.
And Mandash? What does that mean?
It's simply a translation of Mendax
Ah,
in a language that is, or at least a alphabetic script that's commonly intelligible to both inspired and non-inspired.
right.
A newer language meant to ease communication between the ancient inspired and their slaves.
We were able to talk to the corpse of Marlowe, but the priest told us that we wouldn't be able to talk to Buford because there was nothing left there for them to talk to. And I know previously we talked about something that would get rid of the Korra spirit entirely, but if they made Marlowe's inside like Buford's, then it can't be the same thing that they did because we could talk to Marlowe.
I just assumed that we couldn't talk to Buford because they'd already tried to do it.
Right, but they tried it but said that it didn't work for them because there was nothing left for Buford
Right.
to answer.
Perhaps this internal liquefaction is part of the process, but the results are different because Buford was inspired and Marlowe was not.
Right.
It also depends on where they were killed. Since Buford was killed in the shrine during a ritual.
Right, it doesn't seem like Marlowe was done that too,
No.
question mark.
A ritual. A ritual which liquefied Buford Veggiefoot's organs
And also
and
removed his...
any trace of the Korai spirit.
Right.
I may have heard of such a ritual in the past. A very distant past. I'll need some time to consult my old books. In the meantime, your time might be best spent finding the identity of this Mendax or Mandash. In all likelihood, given the name, this is someone who lives among us, deceiving everyone around them.
And it's possible that they're inspired.
It is possible.
Right.
Mazda, roll me an intelligence check.
Oh, not good. Just an 8.
Okay. Carry on.
Do you have any suggestions for us about where to look?
I have no idea, truly. I haven't heard any whispers of a Mendax lurking in our little community here. But of course, they would know better than to walk around calling themselves a liar or a deceiver. Generally, not a good way to keep up a false appearance is to announce that you're doing it.
Of course.
But thinking of the way such a killer tends to operate, such a deceiver may be hiding in very plain sight indeed.
I think we ought to go back and talk to that priest.
The priest of Grignoir?
No. The one in the Temple of Staravia. Or in the Shrine of Staravia, I should say. Sorry. Amanda Shear.
Okay.
They were rather surprised that we were coming to talk to them that day.
Follow your lead.
No.
I remember. They didn't think it was important as the murder investigation to come and check on what happened to them. But it seemed like they might have been linked, which makes me wonder why they would question us being there. She kind of looks at Mazra like, does that sound right?
Worth a shot.
Okay. Then we should go see Mandashir.
Let's go.
And as you set off to go and talk to Mandashir, that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Okay. It's on progress.
We did make some progress. You guys made a lot of progress. Well done. That was crazy, yeah. Spooky. I read too much H.P. Lovecraft. I love to throw in like at first it's a murder that's like a straightforward like, you know, dude who's banging his wife and they decide to kill him. But then it's like, oh,
Wait a sec.
it's really a lot more complicated than that. There's a lot more going on.
Wait a minute. I just got a pop of them.
Mandish
Okay.
and Mandashir are very similar names. I also noticed. So I feel Kiona would lock onto that pretty quickly, but
Elflums. Is it your birthday today?
It is pretty soon. It is pretty soon.
Elflums.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Collie's
Oh,
birthday! Collie's
tomorrow.
birthday!
tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Collie.
Happy birthday!
Yay.
It's probably already your birthday in the Eastern time zone, which I don't think any of us are. Well, none of us are in. I don't know if there's anybody in
15
chat.
minutes till
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well,
Any plans? Any plans, Collie Flumps? It's your birthday for Curb.
yeah, thank you, Ghost. That was amazing.
Big dinner with the
Yeah.
family tomorrow night, and then Thursday,
Yeah.
Vinyl and I are hanging out. Nice.
Amazing.
Date
Love
night. You know what? I love doing something on Twitch. I love going out with my friends. But my favorite part of my birthday is always like just me and Megan, right? And there's some times when like, you know, we did a brunch and, you know, she said like, hey, do you want to invite anybody else to brunch? And I was like, no, I just want to go with you. So that's yeah, that was always the part that is always the part that I like the most. It's just like a little me and Megan thing.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, Bo. You gotta make
Heck
a
yeah.
mushy post for Collie Flumps on his birthday. All right, Wolf. Well, I've got no more.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm done DMing. So, this is your stream?
Yep. We're gonna do a raid.
Raid. Who are we raiding?
The Game Master
Hell yeah.
has raided us many
Nice.
times.
Yeah.
Go say hi. Thank you all for being here. Flutter for the Risa. So, next week we'll be on Flutter channel? Where's Ghost channel?
Yep.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, join
It's me.
us next week. I'll
Or
be on Rolepub Gamers tomorrow for Odoron. What about y'all for the rest of the week? Anything coming up?
I'm gonna be doing Monster Hunter
Okay.
tomorrow. Gonna take my first crack at Arch Tempered Raydao, the new ultra hard monster that just dropped.
Nice.
So we're gonna give it a try.
Butter?
I might be around Friday and Sunday for my usual Sunday stream, but you know.
Nice. And then Grey Spires returns Monday.
Yay.
Monday.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, y'all. The raid's about to go. So
It's gonna
thanks
be
for
so much fun.
being here. Thanks to Ghost. Thanks to everybody. So we will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, friends.